Back at you again with another interesting profile from a slept on set that everybody wrote off. With set 29, this deck got a lot better. So I just wanted to highlight that. I just didn't have a list for it around that time set 29 came out, but I think this is strong. And also to prove your locals decks can do work. And strategy goes a long way. But without further ado, let's get into it. This leader is based around unisons, and let me show you some of the linking connection points with the unisons. But first off, going into the backside is your typical leader, which has an interesting spirit boost effect, which you can spirit boost from your unison. If it's specified cost of 3, you get the KO of 15k or less. But there's a lot of interactions with that. The last effect doesn't really come up too much. It was built around the original combo with the family Kamehameha, as you remember from the Broly Second Coming movie. But we don't focus on that. We kind of hyper focus to a certain goal of the deck. But let's get on to the deck cards. Starting off with the most important card of the deck for turn 2 and how we awaken, because we need a 3 Pacific cost to awaken. This gets us our value, and this doesn't really stay on the field too long, but it's just for your turn to awaken since you can play it early. I just wish I didn't have that. Your opponent has to have 2 energy for you to play it. Otherwise, you can awaken turn 1. It would have been quite a bit better. But it's just for your turn to awaken and something you want to mulligan for turn 1. Next, with our unison strategy, we got 4 Videls. Very essential for any deck playing 3-cost unisons. Following up with my other 2 counterplays, and also like the Gohan for the window 1, window 2 interactions. But those are my 6 counterplays that I'm playing with this that goes along with unisons. Since we spirit boosting, gotta rock the Great Saiyaman, as well as the GT trio, and also help you keep markers on your unison, as well be as a late game play. Also, my other spirit boost power plays that also trigger my Gohan is my Jiren, Dispo, and also when I do the spirit boost, I get to play out a free crit Vegeta. Or once you meet the requirements, it's not free, it's conditional. And the last card that kind of floats around unison plays is the Wolfang Fist, classic from Unison Block. Good for red decks that center around unisons or can play a unison at will. Say, if you got unisons in your Z deck, I would recommend at least 2. Next, Tekken a Topo. 2 testings keep the pressure off. One of my favorite cards that deserved SPR. Definitely worth it for staple for most red decks. A lot of people sleeping on this card. Destructive this. And a unique engine coming up, and why I wanted to rebuild this deck is like these few cards or this small engine packet from the Krillin deck, which you can utilize since your leaders are Son Goten. Definitely a package you can splash into a lot of Saiyan decks if they have the correct names. Saiyan or Earthling decks, I meant to say. But this search out my extra cards and help me filter my hand. The last of my search effects that help me get value. The last of my engine that helps me get value and also bumps up my leader. And when there's bump ups, this card shines. Some tech choices for defense and pressure. More defense and pressure. Another slept on card that has great value and also combos with our extra card to swing for game. Last few cards of my main deck of this 52 card list, which was heavier before, but I like to keep my decks low. Want to do a 2-2 split, but only could find one of my Krillins, which is the premier super combo if you're playing deck focus on unisons. And for the last card of the deck, Secret ID. And going on to the Z deck, mostly pretty standard for like your red deck, but most of the time you're going into the Jiren or the Android 13 most of the time. The rest is for the situation, maybe the Mighty Blast, but you take it how the situation goes. Because this, I would say this is like kind of like a intermediate-ish deck where you just play to the situation of what you need. My one of side deck techs, the Crown, just for most red decks, especially in the blue matchup. I don't know how blue is going to fare this format, but second wave will tell. Hunt and strategies to protect the sands. Next is I don't want you to attack me package. Dance for the decks that can't handle it. Topo just to say no. And Scouter just to mitigate leaders, and a Violent Rage just for the really tall decks that like to throw big swings at you. Last two cards to help for push for game, and to Broly for pushing through the barrier threats. But that's the list, and I'll just catch you later.